Hello guys, what up? It's Dakota here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make my background with all of these sweet colors using our logo that we made, using our how to save our logo as a watermark tutorial that I showed you. If you haven't seen it, I will put a link in the description. And then let's just jump right into it. So first thing you're going to want to do is right click your desktop, hit screen resolution, and then find out your screen resolution. It will be right here. It will say, I don't know, 1920 by 1080, 1280 by 720, whatever it is. It's right here. So I'm just going to click OK. I'm going to go to Photoshop, File, New, and then I'm going to enter my width and my height of my desktop, and then I'm going to click OK. So now what we are going to do is make sure well, this doesn't really have to be, but I'm just going to make it black. Press Alt and Delete to make our background or our canvas black as our foreground color. You can make it whatever color you want. I just made it black for the sake of the tutorial so I can make it look as much like this as I can. Oops, sorry. And then now, you're going to make a new layer by clicking this button right here. And then we are going to try and use the same color as that I used in my logo. So I'm gonna just click on my foreground color and type in 00 for a 65 because that looks nice. That's the color that I used for the background. So now that we have that, we are going to select brush, our brush tool. Then we're going to select the first one right here. And then we are going to make it, I'd say, about 550 pixels. That's fine, yeah. And then I'm going to hit Control Z to erase that mark I just made. And I'm going to make it bigger by pressing right bracket on my keyboard. And then I'm going to click, 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 and click. Leaving some black, but not a lot. I'm just going to go back to my move tool because I don't like seeing that big circle. Whoa, oops, sorry about that. Control Z. Hold on, let me make my... Let's click again. Okay. There we go. Now let's make a new layer. You know what, I'm just going to rename this blue brush. And then we're going to name this black PG. And then with this new layer, you are going to reset our foreground color to black. And then we're going to go to Filter, Render, Clouds. And then that's going to give us our clouds effect. And then right above our layers, you see this drop down menu that says Normal. We're going to change that to Divide. And then that's going to give us our background effect that I have. And then you are going to change your opacity, just lower it so it's not as bright. You know what, I'm going to put it back all the way up, go to this layer and change this layer's opacity so it's a little darker. That's fine. And now we're going to click back on our cloud layer. And now we're going to click our... Oops, sorry about that. We are going to drag in our logo now, which is right here. You're just going to drag it into Photoshop, let Photoshop open, then drop it. And then I'm going to hold Shift and make this a little bit smaller. Holding Shift, and then I'm going to drag it about right there is fine. Yep, and then I'm going to click this check mark to confirm our transformation. And now we are going to drag our clouds layer, and just name this clouds, above our logo. Hold on. And then that's going to mix our logo in with the clouds, which looks pretty sweet, except for that 3D oval we added to make it look 3D. That doesn't look as nice anymore. But we're just going to keep that. I don't know what I did to make it not appear as much. Maybe I just Lowered the opacity. Yeah, that's what I did. I lowered the opacity of the clouds layer, and then it made it not appear as bright. So now that we have done that, we are going to click our brush tool. We are going to change our hardness to 100%, and then we are going to change our size to around 10 pixels. It could be 11 if you wanted to. Select the clouds layer and then do it. Or sorry, make a new layer. There we go. And now we're going to change our foreground color to white. And then as you can see, I drag and it looks, yeah. I'm going to hold Control Z to undo that. And then now we are going to make sure our top 3 buttons are unchecked. Right here, and right here. If it's clicked like that, just unclick it so it's popped out. And we're going to make sure our opacity is 100% and our flow is 50%. Now we're going to go to Window, Brush, and then we're going to make sure Shape Dynamics is clicked. Also make sure Smoothing and Texture are also clicked. And then we're going to click these 2 arrows to make it go back. Sorry about that. And then we're going to click our pen tool. Click up here somewhere, and then click and hold over by our logo and drag up on top of our letter. That's fine. And then we're going to click and hold near the center of our logo above, and then we're going to drag that out to about right there, just somewhere over in here. And then you're going to click a little below your logo and drag that out. I'm just going to put it right here just for lulz. And then I'm going to put it right here at the bottom, click and hold, and then drag out here. And then I'm just going to click over here so that way it has sort of a runoff. And I'm just going to click around, and then this is optional. I'd click right here and then drag. So that way we have a little flare at the end. So now that we have done all of that, you will right click your path, go to Stroke Path, make sure your tool is set as Brush and Simulate Pressure is checked, and then click OK. So now that we have done that, we are going to come right here, two tools below your pen tool, and select our Path Selection tool. So what you're going to do right now is click off the pace or off the path and then hit backspace. And then it's going to do that. And it looks pretty sick. But it still doesn't look as 3D because we need to put the lines behind to make it look like it's going around. So how we are going to do that is that we are going to add a new layer, and then we are going to click on Layer Mask, which is this button right here. We're going to click that, and now we are going to make our foreground color, make sure it's white, and then we're going to click on our eraser tool. I'm going to make that just 30 pixels is fine as your hardness is 100%. And now I'm going to zoom in by holding Alt and scrolling my mouse forward, and that's fine right there. And now since I made it go over, under, I'm going to do that again for you guys. And you're just going to try and get it as close as you can, and then I'm just going to click and drag. Hold on a second. Click on our mask. Click and drag. Hold on a second. Click on the layer and add the new mask. And then, yeah. Let's see if this is it. Yeah, sorry about that. Make sure your layer 1 is what you're erasing. And then you would go back and be very careful to make sure it stops right there. So now I'm going to hold Alt and scroll my mouse wheel back. Control 0. Oops, never mind. And I'm just going to move. Oops. Control Z, sorry. I'm new to Photoshop and I'm learning the controls. And I'm going to try and center that and see what it looks like. And then that looks fine. So now I'm just going to hold Alt and zoom back in. And I'm going to select my eraser tool again. And then I'm going to click right, try and line it up with the outer edge of the circle. And then drag right here. That's fine. And then hold Alt and zoom back out. And then that's all you... Now that you have your 3D effect, you are going to put on an outer glow by holding or right-clicking your layer, going to blending options. Click on outer glow. Make sure it's enabled, and then click on this color right here. And then since I'm just going to make that 004865, which is the color we used for our background, going to turn our opacity all the way up and our size to about 18 pixels. And then click OK. So there you guys go. That's how you make my emblem, or my logo, or my desktop. Sorry, I screwed up way too much right there. But then that's how you make my logo, or... Oh my god. I'm like drunk or something tonight, guys, I'm sorry. That's how you make my background. So what you're going to do now, how to apply it, go to File, Save As, save it as a Photoshop document first. So I'm just going to name it BG2, and hit Save, click OK. And then now we are going to go to File, Save As, BG2, save it as a JPEG. Where is it? Right there. Click Save, click OK, and then wait for it to save, and then go to right here, you're going to right click, and then hit Set as Desktop Background. And then bam, there you go. I know my other one looked nicer, but this one still looks nice. So if you liked, please comment, subscribe, rate, do all that good stuff. I just put out a new intro, so if you could go like that up, I'd appreciate it. So, thanks. Bye.